What's that? I'm supposed to do like every couple days. Hi, guys. Like a couple times a day. How's everyone doing? Yes. Okay. Got some thumbs up. Mm. So very politely, if you would like, I would love to see your beautiful faces. I don't care if it's late. I don't care if you haven't showered or didn't put your makeup on. Or that you're in the car, or you look like you're in an airplane or a bus. Can't tell. That's great. Someone's joining from an airplane. I think it's a bus. That's a car. Okay. All right. I just like to see your faces. I was having I was talking to a really, really good friend last night. And this really good friend, his mother just recently passed, like a couple of days ago. And I can tell that, he's doing, I think he told me that when his dad passed, he spent a lot of time, he was really upset. And I said, well, are you upset now? He goes, well, of course I am. But he said that when his father died, he spent a lot more time being upset versus this time being a little bit more like, he said, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and have the emotion of being upset. Right. And I can tell, like he's he's struggling, right? He's struggling right now. And we were having some really profound conversations. And we also were talking about teaching. We were talking about teaching ACI. And he was like, Tim, how do you think we're going to grow? Like, how do you think we're going to do ACI in the future? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he said, everything's online. And I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, that's true. And there's this thing about, except for Chloe. Chloe always comes to class. Hi, Chloe. Huh. There's Chloe. You too, if you live in Sedona, can get up at 5 a.m. and wander over to Tim's house and listen to ACI classes. And there's this, we were talking about the power. Is there a difference? And this is purposeful. Is there a difference between listening to a class on Zoom, listening to it in the, as a recording on our learning platform, or listening to it in person, right? Meaning seeing the teachers face to face, like being in the same room. And they're all, of course, they're all valid ways of learning, right? And we've changed our ACI policies based on, the availability of Zoom and the challenges of teaching in person. And previously, some of the, you could take the ACI courses by correspondence, right? You can still do that. You can watch the recording whenever you want. You can do the homeworks. Do you guys see how I'm talking about everything in one? I've learned the art of criticizing without criticizing. Excuse me as I spill my beverage all over me. Um, you can do your homeworks online whenever you want, when it works within your schedule. You can be in all different time zones. It's 9 p.m. in Taiwan. I think it's an hour later in Vietnam right now. It's 6 a.m. in Arizona. I think there's a student. What time? What time is it? What time is it? Australia. Yeah, so there's a student in Australia. It's 11 o'clock there, right? And that person wrote me a message and loves listening to the recordings, right? It's all these different times around the world, you know. And so you could always listen to the courses via correspondence, right? We called it correspondence by mail because we used to send out everything by mail. Like you order it, we copy the tapes. Some of you are probably too young to even know what cassette tapes are, right? Or you're like, oh, what's that? That's vintage. Yeah, that's vintage because all of us use them. How many made a romantic mixtape for a boyfriend or girlfriend or a person you were interested in by recording songs on the radio? You recorded in the exactly there you go. Right. You recorded your favorite songs on the radio in a particular order. So you had to listen for days. That's love. Like, don't give me a Spotify playlist. That took you 2 minutes. I want a mixtape that took you 3 days. And then you inevitably mess something up, or your last song, the last song was too long to fit on side A. So you had to go back a rate. Like, come on, that's right. I'm just kidding. You can give me a Spotify playlist. Where am I going with this? Oh, so correspondence, the correspondence courses, right? You could do them anytime, anywhere. A lot of people, I was out to dinner with Bill McMichael, who did 3-year retreat. I was out with him and his wife, Ina, last night. And he listened to the courses on tape back in the late 90s, right? He did 3-year retreat, right? And we were debating this. This is not the same person I was talking about in the beginning. And then, we had a rule, right? That you had to take 16, 17, and 18 in person, right? And then, the whole thing with Vajrayana was that you had to be in person. You had to come find your teacher. You had to come find your teacher, right? You had to be there in person. It's an oral lineage, right? And during COVID, the we debated with Geshe Michael for quite a while because there were many of us, we were taking courses in Vajrayana and people couldn't travel. The teachers couldn't travel. Some of us had the karma to be there for all the classes, right? And I was like, that's weird. And other people didn't. And so we made a choice to say, yes, we can teach these online. But all of those students had met their teacher prior to that and met them in person. Like there was already a tendril, like a connection, like a teacher connection, right? Like a person, in-person connection, right? And so I'm debating with this first person. I'm like, how are we going to do this? Like literally, how many time zones did you guys just put on here? I don't know, 1, 2, 3. There's like the whole freaking world. Like, okay. Right. So when I ask you to turn on your cameras, see where I'm going with this? Okay. I want to see you, right? Why does Tim want to see you? As I said, I don't care what you look like. I mean, I do care what you look like, right? Because I want to know what you look like, right? And I don't know exactly. Like, when I was debating with this person, I'm like, how do we serve all these people? And how do we make this possible? Right? How do you have that one-on-one connection, you know, for those higher teachings? Because you need it. Like, you need to be able to have a teacher, right? And I know some of you have never met your teacher. You've only met your teacher online. Some of you only have met electronically, right? And you feel that deep connection. And some people I've only met online too. And you develop a kind of teacher. Hey, I know, come here. You're loved too. She's super jealous when I talk to people. I don't know why I have to see that. Um, how do we develop that? How do we develop those relationships with each other? That's what I'm asking, right? How do we develop those relationships? And I don't have the answer to it. Like, one of the ideas that Ale has had for, is to go travel, Tim, go on a tour, go meet everybody. I'm like, part of me is like, oh, that's super exciting. Then then the sort of like traditional Tim says, I know, Louise said, thanks for pointing out my flaws. um, or the part of me is like, well, shouldn't the students come to the teacher, right? And I think it's stupid to like have those kind of thoughts. Like, which one is it? Should the student go to the teacher or should the teacher go to the student? Right? That's not how karma works. All right. So I think, you know, why are we talking about this? Why am I talking about a conversation I had last night with someone? Like, am I telling it to you because, oh, by the way, that person's mom just died? And we're talking about the death course? Maybe. But what I'm trying to say is that this was also part of the conversation last night, is that if you really, really embody the death meditations of this course, like this class and last class, and have that awareness, right? You also have an awareness of the finitude of the form that your teacher appears in. Your teacher, if your teacher appears as a human, or as a cat, or as your child, or as your partner, and doesn't, come flying through the window as a ball of light and speaks with the voice of a god or a goddess, right? And then takes you off to heaven that way, right? Let me know when that happens to you. I would love it. Normally, that's not the form that a Buddha can take or will take to help you. I think the greatest teaching the teacher ever gives is this one, is they teach their own impermanence. Because there's something in us that believes that we, us, me, I cannot die. I won't die. This idea that Tim is going to die is so remote right? Like, no, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow, or the next day, or 10 years, or 50 years. I'm going to be able to do all of these things. I'm going to accomplish all my goals. 2 days ago, I had a weird, I got up, it's my day off. I went and had some body work. I came home. It's like, oh, I'm a little tired. I'm like, oh, it's my day off. I'm going to go take a nap. Then I'll figure out what to do. That's what I do on my day off. I don't plan. Right? So a circle day is. You don't plan your circle day. You just have a day off. You do the things you like. So I wanted to nap. So I napped. Right? So I went and napped. I woke up 4 hours later with a fever. Okay. I was like, oh, that's weird. Let me translate it. It was, sorry, why the United States is the only stupid country that uses the only system that no one else understands. Hold on. Thank you. So I had a fever of 37.7, okay, Celsius. For us few gringos, it was 100 degrees, okay? Not bad, just a little mild fever, right? Just a little tiny one, right? And I got up and I was like, yeah, I don't really feel that well. That's weird. So I went back to bed for another 6 hours. Okay. And then I woke up again and the fever was at 102, which is 38.9, 38.88. Okay. So I had a fever. I was definitely hot, right? Not hot in the way Sydney would say you're hot, but I'm hot as in like I had a big fever. Okay. So, I'm like, wow, that sucks. This kind of, what the hell's going on? And I called my friend Christina Kasica, who many of you know. She lives 2 houses down. She brought me soup. I had like a little bit of soup, and then I went to bed again. And I slept the whole night, right? But as I was laying on the couch after having the soup, I was like, okay, you're teaching death meditation, Tim. Yes. So why don't we think about this right now? What if your fever goes up to 104? What if it goes up to 104 or 105 while you're sleeping? What if this is the end? What if you die tonight? Right? What if you die tonight? Would you have regretted this? Would you have regretted something? Would you have been like, yes, I accomplished my goals? And I was like, the answer was no. But I said to myself, I think you've practiced. I think you've practiced. Have you practiced enough? And I started thinking about the times I chose not to practice. And I was like, well, if I'm really honest, the answer is no, I didn't. I chose other things. And but I was like, okay, if this is it, this is it, right? I got up and put away all the things I didn't want other people to see. I didn't want them to see the mess I left, but I cleaned up a bit, sort of in my feverish state. And I'm looking around right now and I'm like, yeah, you didn't clean up, idiot. You look like you cleaned up. And I went to bed, right? And I woke up fine, right? I had a hangover yesterday, fever hangover. But we got to this point, like, so I'm returning back to the point of you don't have time. I was totally fine on Wednesday. Luckily, my immune system did what it needed to do. It took care of the problem. It turns out that everyone at the hotel has COVID. I don't. right now. So something weird happened. So, but getting to this question of like, if you have an opportunity to be with your teacher, be with your teacher, whomever your teacher is. Like, if you go to class, you know, and you're listening to a teacher, but you know your teacher is somebody else, that's fine. Like, just because you're all in this class doesn't mean that I'm your teacher. You're just coming to this class, right? But if you know you have a teacher and you know who that teacher is, take that time, like develop that connection with them. How do you develop a connection with your teacher? If someone gives me the Abhidharma answer, I'm going to open your camera. That's the Abhidharma answer. No, just kidding, Ale. That's the best answer. Well done, Ale. I love it when jokes flow through. Well, exactly. Like you guys have learned. It's the seeds, right? Can you connect with your teacher and have a deep, deep, deep relationship with them over Zoom? Yes, of course you can. Can you have the most distant relationship with your teacher over Zoom? Yes. Can you have the most distant, non-connecting relationship with your teacher if you happen to live down the street from them? Yes. Can you have the most closest relationship with your teacher when they live down the street? Yes. It's called Mushi Musum, ACI 1, class 2, I think. Okay. Don't think that you can't have something because your mind tells you can't have it. I can't be close to someone. How many people, when virtual reality, I don't know if they were called games or worlds or things like that, came out in like, what the hell year was that? God, it's so long ago. It's like 2008, something like that, where you create an avatar and you go into these worlds and then you meet people. You run around and then meet them, right? You just run into them. Some people run into each other, right? And then you start chatting or you have headsets on, right? How many people, and people just did whatever they wanted to do, right? And they still do. I know people that fell in love with with an avatar in these worlds, right? And they would run home from work to get online to be with their lover. And you could have sex in these worlds too. That was great. I mean, depends what you mean by sex, right? Again, depends what you mean by connection with your teacher. In person, over Zoom, what difference does it make? It's the seeds you have, right? You can be extremely close with somebody and live on the other side of the world. You can be extremely distant from someone and live in the same house, right? How many people have their marriage and they like that's the person that they're the farthest away from, right? But my friend and I last night were talking about the impermanence of our teacher. We were talking about we both feel that we don't have enough time anymore. And then we giggled and we were like, oh, well, guess what? In 5 years, it'll be different. If we change the seeds, maybe in 5 years, we won't feel the same thing about our teacher. And we laughed about it, about how we were thinking our seeds were self-existent. But my friend lost their mother. And just the same way you could lose your teacher. So I think death awareness meditation pushes you to that. Like, I remember being, my high school years and college years, and right after college, I was like, I want a teacher. I was like, I want a teacher. I want my own personal Yoda. Okay. I was a Star Wars fan. I wanted my own personal Yoda to show up, crash land on a planet, whatever it was, and like meet my teacher, right? And I think that Star Wars story is like, the way it happens, Luke goes in search of his teacher, right? The irony is he met the teacher. He met Obi-Wan Kenobi. He met the teacher, but he was too dumb to realize it, right? Like, oh, you couldn't possibly teach me. You're an old man who lives in the desert. So what did Obi-Wan Kenobi teach him? I hope Francisco's here. Francisco will love this. Unfortunately, he's not. Can someone let Francisco know that I've been talking about Star Wars so he watches the movie? Or watches this episode of ACI 8 Class 10. Right. And Obi-Wan's like, all right, dumbass. You can't see me as a teacher? I'll teach you something. I'll teach you my own impermanence. Right? Right? And he lets himself get killed by Darth Vader. Right? And you can say, oh, well, he let himself get killed so Luke could escape. Okay, fine, whatever. You tell the story the way you want to tell the story. I'll tell the story the way my seeds tell the story. Okay. He died to teach Luke a lesson, right? And then he sent him to the Dagobah system. And then he crash landed in a swamp. And again, he didn't recognize his teacher. Like Yoda's just acting like a little like nymph, right? Throwing shit around, like saying all these weird things. and then he doesn't really believe him when he says he's Yoda, right? Like, who in your life, you don't have to get on a fighter jet and go fly around the world to find your teacher, right? This is what Geshe-la always says. You could go to India and prove that Apana and Udana can happen at the same time. Get it? You can prove that you can eat something in 2 minutes, have it come out both ends at the same time. Okay? You could do that. You could go crash land in any place in the world and maybe go look for your teacher. And maybe that's how seeds were back then. I don't know. Or you could plant the seeds now and then just have them show up. There you go. Right? Plant the seeds and then your teacher just shows up. I don't know. What kind of seeds did ACI students plant when all of a sudden COVID happened? Zoom, right? You planted an ACA organization that decided to teach in multiple languages. How many languages do we have going today? Let's have a look, Tim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's nice. There are set. Wow. Even I didn't know that. 7 languages. How awesome is that, right? So You did something, right? You did something that allowed ACI teachers to be online, right? But don't think that that seed can't wear out. This is what I'm trying to say. If your seed for your mom can wear out, your seed for your teacher can wear out. All right. And I don't want you to start crying. You know, if you really understood this, there is a moment of like pain that happens when every moment that I realized my teacher could go, like the impermanence, like it's like, you know, feel it, but then do something about it. You know, do something about it. Come to your ASI classes, do your homeworks. Is there an emoji for like, let's see, is there an emoji for that expression I just did? Here. How about that? Okay. Do your ACI homeworks. Just do your ACI homeworks. Okay. We have someone who reached out to us yesterday or 2 days ago and was like, we need to do ACI homeworks. And they're going to offer study hour at the ACI library of Zoom. You all are going to come to the library. That's what I used to do in college. We all go to the library together. We'd have our jugs of coffee. And we'd sit around on a couch or something like that. And we would study together. So Anna had a great idea, and she's going to start leading study hours. Louisa started a study homework group together. Louisa's group, they go through things one at a time. They go through everything together. Anna's group is going to be like, everyone come together and just do your ACI homework, right? And she said she would do it for a month. And so then we're going to say, all right, who wants to lead the ACI study hour at the library the next month? And then people can just get on Zoom together. I can do my Vajrayana homework. You can do your ACI 8 homework or your ACI 1 homework that you didn't finish yet, which I know some of you have not, because I can see. Okay. And we just do it together, right? Maybe that plants seeds for your teachers. I don't know. So okay, so we have a little bit more to do today. You all can think about what I just talked about. So there's 3 main aspects to the death meditation. What is the first one? Did you forget from the first class? That's right. And what is the idiom for death is certain? I want you all to do it right now. You guys remember the idiom for death is certain? Oh my gosh, no one remembers? No one remembers? Oh my gosh. Okay, I want you all to do this. Ready? Okay. That's the idiom for death is certain, right? I want you all to do it. I want to see you all doing it. Death is certain. Nice. Okay. Now you won't forget that. Okay. So there were 3 reasons why death is certain. What are they? It has to arrive and nothing can stop the Lord of Death. It's impossible to add any time to your life. This is the Abhidharma speaking. Madhyamika might say something different. And third is, if when you die, you will not have had enough time to practice Dharma when you were alive, which is what I thought about Wednesday when I had my fever on the couch over there. right? Didn't have enough time to practice. Okay. Oh, I was going to ask you, but I showed you. Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, what's the second thing? What's the second item? The second thing about death. Let's all do this. Everyone do this. All right. What does that mean? It means there's no certainty when we will die. I don't know. What's the first one? Show me. Maria, it's 2 thumbs, not 1. Good. Okay. Death is certain. The second one is, I don't know. I don't know when. We don't know when. Okay. Right? See how powerful idioms are? You guys aren't going to forget now. You don't know when. All right. So there are 3 qualities. It's fine that there's 3 reasons, right? There's 3 primary reasons why about death, right? And each of those 3 reasons have 3 reasons each. So there's a total of 9. I love Buddhism. All right. So the first thing about I don't know when is lifetimes aren't fixed. All right. Here's this beautiful couple about to have a baby, right? They taken their announcement photo, right? They're like, hey, everyone, we're going to have a baby. They send it out, right? Everyone's super excited, right? They send out the card. They have a shower, right? Everyone's like, is it a boy or a girl? And the couple's like, don't genderize my baby. Let my baby be whatever gender they want to be. So I remember when my brother had his first child. My brother's first child was a she. Mom planned the party. Everything was pink. Tried to tell mom not to do that, but mom didn't listen. And then 2 days before the baby shower, this is like month 7, right? 2 days before the baby shower, my sister-in-law, she had another, what are they called? Ultrasounds, right? Guess what? They found a penis. Ta-da! Surprise penis. Okay. So he's having a boy, not a girl, right? Oh my God, it was the worst thing for my mom. My brother and I were laughing. My mom was not amused. She was just so horrified that now everything for the party was pink. And my brother was like, Mom, it doesn't matter. First of all, the child isn't even born yet. And it doesn't matter. Like, maybe he'll like pink. Maybe he won't even identify as a he. Maybe he'll be a she. Maybe he'll have a penis and identify as a woman. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, it was a funny moment. But okay, so they make all these plans, right? Baby's born, right? Lifetimes aren't fixed, right? A friend of mine from high school had her first baby. She died. Not the baby, the mother died 3 hours later. I just got news yesterday that one of my good friends' nephews died. 1 year old. Had an accident. Okay. Lifetimes are not fixed. I remember a friend in elementary school, her younger brother died, right? It just like it, you know, lifetimes aren't fixed. Don't think that yours is too. Don't think that your teacher's lifetime is fixed. Don't think you are. Okay. The second thing about, I don't know, is there are so many dangers in this life. There are many, 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 many things that can kill you. And the things that keep you alive are very, very few. All right. There are much more dangers than life preservers. Okay. I'm sorry. In case of a water landing, put on your life jacket and blow into the red tube. In case of a water landing, how many water landings are there? And how many of the water landings there are, how many of them are actually landings? The one airplane that landed on the Hudson River when birds flew into the engines and shut the engines down. Luckily, there was a river nearby, and luckily, there was a seasoned pilot who knew how to land a plane on a river, right? In case of emergency, blow into the red tube. Like, come on. Like, your plane is going down. Oh shit, I'm gonna go grab my life preserver. No, come on, it's ridiculous. Makes you feel safe. You know, in the small chance you do have a water landing, okay, then put on your life jacket and blow into the red tube. All right. But the number of things on that airplane that can kill you versus the one thing that can save you. The one thing that could potentially save you, your life preserver, is one thing out of a gazillion things that can kill you on an airplane. Same thing with a car. Put on your seatbelt, Tim. Okay, I'll put my seatbelt on. Now, your seatbelt, you know, that has been statistically proven that based on the types of accidents there are, more people live when they wear the seatbelt when they don't. Okay. But again, there's more things in a car that can kill you than your seatbelt will save you. You see. Luckily, we have the karma that their planes get to where they're going, or mostly. Cars get to where they're going, mostly. Statistically speaking, they do get there. They are safer. But in case of accident, good luck. Unless you have a desire to like be on Lost and then have your plane travel through some time, some time warp, and then you show up and then you're on a magical island. Maybe that's what you want. I don't know. All right. The next thing is that your body is completely fragile. You think this body is strong? You eat your beautiful muffins. You drink your electrolyte beverages. You eat your vegan food. Right? And then you wake up with 102 fever. Okay. Right? This body is fragile, fragile, fragile. It's kind of a miracle that it stays alive. It's really a miracle. So all of those things together are I don't know. Lifetimes aren't fixed. You can die from, 2 minutes after conception, a natural miscarriage, up and through 110 years old. When are you going to die? When is anyone going to die? I don't know. I don't know. Right? There's many, many things that could kill you. And if you made it to 40, good job. If you've ever had children, the amount of danger that children are in all day long, it's phenomenal that they survive. Like, just think about how many times you may have almost died in your life that you didn't. How many car accidents did I almost have? Did I tell you guys I almost got run over by a shipping barge in the middle of the night? I'm 18, 19, I don't know, 19 or 20 years old. I don't know what I was, maybe 24. I don't know, somewhere in that age range. My friend had a sailboat. We were sailing in the middle of the night in the Chesapeake Bay, which is close to Washington, D.C., for those of you who don't know. And we were on a 5-day trip, out and back. And we were like, let's do some night sailing. Oh, that's smart. Right? We're like, well, we can see the lights. Boats have lights, right? They have lights. So we're crossing the shipping channel in the middle of the night. Okay. That sounds intelligent, right? Back and forth. The wind is perfect to go back and forth across the shipping channel, right? And all of a sudden we're looking like, way down, and we see 3 lights, a white one, a green one, and a red one. Okay. So just so you guys know, the red and the green light tell you when you're looking at something, what direction it's moving in. Why? The red light is always on the left wing or the left side of a boat. And the red is always on, the red's on the left, the green is on the right. So you can know whether that craft or that vessel, what direction is it moving? Is it moving towards you or is it moving away from you? Right? White light in the center. Red is on the left. Whichever left is your left. Green is on the right. Okay? So if it's moving away from you, the red will be on your left and the green will be on your right. But if it's moving towards you, the green will be on your right and the green will be on your left and the red will be on your right. Okay. Get it? Turn it around. Now it's coming towards you. Well, guess what we decided? Red is on the right. So red is going away from us. In the middle of the night. Back and forth. We're coming across the channel and we see these lights. And all of a sudden, they were no longer straight across from each other. They went like this. Right? We saw them move like this. And we were like, oh shit. Because then we recognized what was happening. And as we crossed in front, we saw the front of the front of the ship. And as we went by, we saw the little portholes, like the little windows along the water with little lights, right? I would say we probably missed it by, I don't know. It probably was closer. It was probably farther away than we thought, but maybe 25 meters, maybe 20 meters. I don't know. Who's going to win? 1,000-ton barge full of coal or a 3-meter sailboat? Who's going to win? You know where we would have been? We would have been sucked right under that barge, and then we would have been jetted out, the engines behind it. There would have been no evidence of Tim, right? Holy, that was scary, right? So think about in your own life, how many times did you almost die? You may not have that story, but I'm assuming you have your own story where you were like, that car almost, wow, right? I almost fell, we are fragile. Okay. All right. Now, what's the third major category? So the first one is, what was the first one? Show me the first one. Death is certain. Excellent. What's the second one? I don't know. We don't know when. What's the third one? What's the third one? Not even right. It's the Dharma, right? I don't know. I don't have a mudra for this one. I took the Zen emptiness circle and found Buddha inside it. I don't know. What should we do? What should our mudra be? We have one. We have two. What should be the third one? Let's do some options. We have this. We have this. What else do we got? Oh, we got a little mandala offering. Shanti does this. We got some of this. Huh. Okay, I've decided. Oh, Janet, that's good. All right, we have a toss up. We have two options. Here we go. Ready, guys? The first one is, second one is this. Or, okay, here's two options. We're gonna do the mandala offering. Okay, if you don't know how to do it, we'll teach you one day. Shanti's like, what? Or we're gonna hold up a pen. You can do one or the other, okay? You can learn how to do the mandala offering, this, or a perfect world. This is the mudra for a perfect world. Okay, that's why I like this. Or you can hold up a pen. Yogi's choice. Okay. So the third one. Only the Dharma can help. Okay. So what are the three qualities? Don't get out of my face. Three qualities of that one. First one is you cannot, when you die, there's not a single one of your friends or relatives that you can take along with you. There's no one that can come with you. It's just you. And this particular image reminds me of Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, which is a famous poem by Robert Frost. So if you want to learn a really good American poem, please read this. Let's see if let's read it to you guys. Stopping by a woods on a snowy evening. I'll read it I'll do it in the review class. I'll give it to the translators ahead of time so you can have it. Let's see. I want to give you guys time to study it. Okay, so you can't take along anyone. Okay, it's just you. And guess what? You don't go along either. You. If you really think about it, there's no you that goes either. So think about that one. All right. The second thing. What do you guys think this means? I just lost it. Sorry, I just lost my screen. Let me bring it back. What do you guys think this means? Imagine you're a pirate. What's in the boat? A treasure, right? Pirates have treasure. Arr. Right? You can't bring any material thing with you. So when you die, all of your treasures sink to the bottom of the ocean and you can't have them. Right? All material things that you strove to keep and build in your entire life, all the money, all the houses, all the clothes, all the stuff does not get into your backpack and get carried through in the bardo. All of your treasures go to the bottom of the ocean. All right. And thirdly, what's this one about? What's this one about? Your body. You can't even take your body with you. Right? Every part of your body will be gone. Someone could wrap your body up in a very, very good way, put you in a sarcophagus. That's a fancy word for a coffin, sort of, and turn you into a mummy. That's what they did in ancient Egypt, right? And other places around the world. But you can't take that body with you. Oh, let's wrap up their body. This is perfect. What happens in ancient Egypt? They wrap up the bodies. They wrap them up in a way that the body lasts quite a long time, pretty close to forever. Then they put all their material wealth, right? And they put them all together and they lock them up, seal it up, so you can have them forever. Really? Until someone opens it up and robs it and steals all your wealth, right? And then what's left? Your body is put in a museum and everyone goes, ooh, okay. Look at all those people. Ooh, a mummy. Ooh, a 3,000-year-old mummy. Okay. Maybe it's a lesson in impermanence. Maybe. Maybe your body will be mummified so that others can remember that you weren't permanent, that your body did die. Right? Okay. Those are those three. You won't forget it. Sorry, Barbara, but you won't forget it. That's the point of idioms. You won't forget. Okay, here we go. Review time. What's the first thing about death awareness? Oh, bam. Show me, everyone. Nice. Nice. It is certain. This is what you can do in the mirror in the morning, all right? Instead of doing the Steve Jobs, hold on, I'm going to look this up now that I'm thinking about it. This is why I love the interwebs. Yeah, Steve Jobs said, remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Okay. Remembering that I will be dead soon helps me make the big choices in life. Steve Jobs died at 56. Okay. If you're older than 56, congratulations. If you're younger than 56, you may not make it to 56. Sorry. But this is the death meditation you can do in the morning. Okay, ready, guys? So here you are. You're putting your toothpaste on. Okay. Turn on your toothbrush. Why do I have an electric toothbrush? Because I listen to my dentist. My dentist is my teacher. My dentist told me that my gums could never heal. My dentist said gum disease is permanent. And I said, bullshit. I had a thing up here. So what did I do? I did exactly what my dentist told me to do. And I've never seen the person who cleans my teeth is like super tough. She's always irritated with me. You don't floss, you don't, right? I've never seen her happy in her life. She was like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. And I was like, that's right, because I did exactly what you said. I got myself an electric toothbrush. I got better toothpaste and I floss. Okay. Anyway, so put your toothpaste on, right? You're brushing your teeth, right? Then you do this in the mirror. You got to brush your teeth for at least 2 minutes, okay? I do this, right? Death is certain, all right? When's it going to happen? I don't know. Well, now you need a pen because you can't do the mandala, right? Put a pen in your bathroom. Hold up a pen. Only this can save you. You see? That's death meditation. And now, what will you choose to do today? The big choices you'll make in life. Okay. What big choices will you make based on your toothbrush and looking in the mirror? Okay. You have 2 minutes anyway. Don't waste your time. Death meditation teaches you not to waste your time. So don't waste your time. Do your death meditation while you're brushing your teeth. Don't look at the pimples on your face. Okay. Pop the pimples afterwards. Okay. But don't waste your time while you're brushing your teeth. Okay. Then start thinking about Dharma things. Maybe you think about your teacher. How am I going to serve my teacher today? How am I going to do all these things? Okay. All right. So the big question has come up several times, and you've asked, okay, I'm doing my death meditation, Tim. I'm doing my death meditation. Yes. Um, I'm having this more and more awareness of death all the time. I'm seeing it more. Like within 2 days, I keep telling you guys, every single day I hear of someone else who's died. Someone's mother, 95, a child who's 1 year old. Like, okay, like it's dizzying. It creates vertigo. Like, oh my God. Like, and then you guys ask the question, what seeds will I plant now? Okay. Right. One of the things about being a Dharma practitioner or being, understanding, um, Kathy, at the end, we can ask a question. One of the things that you start doing when you've taken vows, right? You start in the beginning and like, oh, I can do 4 steps, right? You might come into DCI, like I gotta, you know, I want to join the million dollar club. I want to join the health club, true healing, right? I want to learn all these ways that I can make my life better, right? I want to join the find your perfect spiritual partner club, right? All of those things. And you start planting seeds, right? And you start working on those seeds. And then you start taking more and more vows. And then you're like, well, I am doing good things, Tim. Yes, you are. You are doing good things. Like you are a good person, right? I have so many people who come to me and they're like, I'm a terrible person. And I'm like, no, you're not. If you're coming to me and you're saying the words, I'm a terrible person, it means you're not a terrible person because you have a conscience. You're ashamed of the things you've done. We've all done things that have hurt people. Okay. We have sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional. Sometimes people have done worse than others. You know, there's stories of people who have, were drunken assholes for the first 50 years of their life, and then they transformed and then became enlightened. So we've done stuff. And if you really think about it, you've done it all anyway in past lives. So just don't freaking worry about it. Okay. Don't worry about it. Like if you worry about being a good person, you already are a good person. Okay. Then the question comes up, well, how do I maximize my seed planting? How do I make it more powerful? How do I choose? Right? I have all these good things I could do. I want to do the best things. And if you do your death meditation well, you will then have this question. You'll have this question of, well, which ones do I do? I got all these vows, right? I have all these things. I have all these practices. I got a question the other day. It was like, Tim, you've taught so many meditations. You have ACI has traveling to the diamond world. You have 18 new meditations coming out after the ACI retreat we had in Guadalajara, right? Coming out once a week, I think. Tim, which one do I do? Which meditation do I do? Can't possibly do all of them, right? Well, there's a reason why we give you a gazillion options, because there's a gazillion karmic configurations of students. Which one works best for you? Which one attracts you, right? And then your teacher will say, well, do this one, do this one, do this one. And then you get to a place where they say, this is your main practice. You don't do anything else but this. You're like, well, what about all this other stuff? Gotta, you got to determine for yourself. But there are some rules, or what do we call them? There's some ways that we can figure out which seeds are more powerful than others, right? What's one way to measure this? All right. While you guys are thinking about things that I've already told you, I'm going to blow up a balloon. Oh, that's cool. We're landing right here. I went to the floor. Nope, you guys still didn't get the answer. All right. You guys know this. I have a second balloon. What is one way that you can measure the power of your karmic seeds? Give you another. Oh, okay. Chloe got it before I blew up another balloon. Oh, sorry. I didn't offer money. The power of your karmic objects, right? What are some powerful karmic objects? Let's see. Anyone who's suffering greatly, in great need, your parents, your teacher, exactly. Okay. Okay. And someone who's helping others, yes. Right. Like if you can replicate, if you help someone else who's helping others, like should you give money to the Red Cross? Or should you give money directly to the doctor who's going into the flood ravaged area where no one has electricity and they're all dying of diarrhea? Which one is going to help more people now? Oh, yeah, both, of course. 100% of your money is going to the doctor. 20% of your money, if you give it to the Red Cross, goes to the doctor. I don't know, I made up that number. Okay. But the Red Cross takes a lot of money for their operational expenses, right? It takes a long time for the money to get there. However, the Red Cross does amazing things because they also can launch rescue operations a lot faster because they already have those things in place. See what I just did? Which one? You have to decide yourself. Thank you, Mark. It's a diamond deal. I diamond dealed you. Okay. Which one? Okay. Well, that's a question. Julia asked, well, what about giving money to the homeless person on the street? Do they need it? Yes, that person needs it, but it's your perception of what they need. Someone who doesn't have a home, there's a lot of reasons why they may not have a home. And they may be just fine. Right? They could be a person without a home and just be completely fine. They could have enough food and they could have enough shelter. Homeless is not an indicator. They could also be totally destitute, or they could be a drug addict, or there's a million things going on, right? So it's your choice, yogi's choice. See, I'm not going to tell you what the right answer is because it's the right answer for you. If you have a good practice, two equally high bodhisattvas doing opposite things are both powerful seeds. Depends on who's looking. And the fact that you're seeing a contradiction might be something about you and nothing about the bodhisattvas. Okay, so what I want to say is we have this thing called the 4 priorities. All right. And this comes from, let me get this up here so I don't mess it up. Where are you? What are these 3 things? Oh, I think I skipped something. Oh, I skipped something. All right, we'll do this first. So there's 4 priorities. There's 4 priorities of how to determine how the seeds are going to ripen. Where are my notes? Oh, there they are. Yeah, I put the notes elsewhere. Okay. This is how the seeds are going to ripen. So let's open this up. I'm going to show it to you because someone made a comment that I put things in the chat and it's not saved for posterity. So I'm going to show it to you guys. Okay. So I know I don't have this in translation, but this comes from it's quoted in the auto commentary to the Abhidharma Kosha. Okay. And you guys can read this later. I'll send it in the chats. But we want to know how are seeds going to ripen? So then we know how to plant them. Okay, that's the question. How do we, if we can figure out the order in which they're going to ripen, then we can figure out what seeds to plant. That makes sense? If there's a way to determine in some way which seeds are going to ripen, then we can figure out what to plant and how to plant them. See? So the way this gets presented is here in this cycle of life, karmas ripen in order of those which are particularly serious, those which are closer, those committed habitually, and those committed earlier. Okay. This commentary in this particular version are from, it's actually from Lamrim 35, and I pulled them from Geshe Michael's notes. And he says that Atisha utilizes this verse on many occasions, and that this verse appears in many places, and it's vital to understand how karma works. However, they have not been able to find it in the sutra yet. But now that we're looking for it, we might find it. Okay. That was also 5 years ago. So let's go through the order. And the order is kind of fun because a normal way of teaching it is not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of in a, this happens, but if this happens, it's faster. Okay. So here we go. Let's see. So here we are. I like this picture. How do we predict which seed is going to open up? Right? This crystal ball, like whatever, like a seer or like a magician, or, you look into the crystal ball and see the future, right? And that's like a mushroom cloud, a seed opening, right? Blowing up, right? What seeds are going to blow up? Okay. Can you look into that crystal ball and know what seeds are going to open up in what order? Yes, Trinity, you're so beautiful, but you're not, you're a seed opening up. Go away. All right. The first thing that we say, can you grab her off of there? She's getting annoying. Give her the love she needs. So the first thing, the first priority, we're calling these the 4 priorities. The first priority is first one in, first one out. Seeds will ripen in the order in which you plant them, right? The people will get in to the whatever they're waiting for I like this because we don't know what they're waiting for, right? They will get into whatever they're waiting for. First one in, first one out, right? Like a line, like an airplane, like on the tarmac. Our plane will take off in 20 minutes because there's 15 planes in front of us. I'm always like, who the hell runs these schedules? Anyway, first one in, first one out. Unless, so here you go. First one in, first one out. Unless something is done habitually, like brushing your teeth. I hope that each and every one of you have the habit of brushing your teeth. And now you have a new habit to add into brushing your teeth. Okay. So first is first in, first out. Okay. Right. The door is going to open up, bam, new seed, bam, and then they're going to go through, right? Unless there's a habit. If you do something habitually, those seeds will ripen faster than the first ones in. And if you think about that, it's very, very deep. If you really think about how seeds work, that's incredibly deep. Okay, so first in, first out. Second, a habit. Unless, all right, they are closer. And what does this mean? And this is the one we should worry about. Unless they are closer to death. In DCI, we say closer to a major transition. But in ACI, we say unless they are closer to death, the transition, right? This should scare you. Okay. The closer you do something to death, the more likely it is to ripen before anything else. Unless, okay, we're going more powerful, right? Get it? So first one is first in, first out. Makes sense. We're okay. That makes sense, right? Unless it's a habit, then it becomes more likely to ripen. Unless it's closer to your death. Unless, and here's the fourth priority, unless it is more serious and has more karmic weight. Okay. All right. Which one is heavier? Which has a heavier karmic weight? What is done with more motivation? What is done with more intention? What is done with more emotion? Good or bad, doesn't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter. Okay. So this is what you need to meditate on. If you brush your teeth every morning, and you're like, right? And then you start thinking about the seeds you're planting in the order in which they ripen, right? Habits closer to death and with more serious weight. Think about the closer to death one. How do you know which ones are closer to death? You don't. So what are you going to do today? What are the most powerful karmic seeds that you're going to plant today? Because if you plant it closer to death, it's more likely to ripen at the key moment. What's the key moment? Your death. Your next life. And you guys now know all the places that you can go. Where do you want to go? Where would you like others to go after they die? Okay. So what all of this does put together, I'm going to take 2 extra minutes. Is this creates 3 resolutions. Okay. 3 things should come to your mind right now. This is the last homework question. All right. Knowing that you will have to die, you resolve to begin your practice. Okay. Here's all these guys at the starting line of a triathlon. Okay. They are ready to begin their practice, knowing that I'm going to die. All right. Right. Now I resolve to do my practice. Secondly, since you can die at any time, we're going to start our practice today. We're not going to wait till tomorrow. We're not going to wait till tonight. We're not going to wait until we've taken our shower after we brushed our teeth. Actually, I brushed my teeth after the shower. Irrelevant. You start your practice now. Okay. All right. And then we must devote ourselves to our practice. The example they use in the scripture is someone who's hiking many, many miles doesn't put a lot of stuff in their backpack. You only put what you need. So this picture is Arya Sangha carrying Maitreya. You only take what you need with you. This guy's taking his dog with him, right? But he's taking the Dharma with him, right? Because Arya Sangha met Maitreya. He saw a dog and then he saw Maitreya. His karma shifted. You only take your Dharma with you, right? You resolve to begin your practice. You definitely just started and you just take your Dharma with you. Okay. Those are the 3 things that come out because of your toothbrush meditation. Okay. Quickly review. What's the first thing about your death awareness meditation? Show me. Nope. It's your toothbrush. Just kidding. All right. What's the second thing? No. After your toothbrush. There you go. Okay. What's the second thing? I don't know. And what's the third thing? Okay. Very good. Good job, everyone. Good job. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to the translators. Thank you to all the tech people who are recording this, making it available, uploading it to the platforms. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking this seriously and having fun too. We'll have a review class next Friday. We're going to go through everything. And we'll probably have some fun other stuff extras in that class as well. So thank you all for joining. I really, really am honored that you want to be here. You guys help me be close to my teacher. Like without you, I don't think I would be able to stand in the fire of being this close to my teacher. And it's a good fire, but it's uncomfortable fire sometimes too. So thank you all very much. Yeah, turn on your mics and let's say goodbye.
Bye, Tim. Thank you.
再见，谢谢老
Thank
师。
you. Bye bye.
And I'll see you soon.
Gracias, maestro Tim.
Bye.
See you next
Quédate,
Friday.
síguenos
Пока.
apoyando.
Спасибо.
Tschüss. Tschüss. Ich sagte was.
Aw.
Thank you.
All right.
谢谢老师随行，感恩。
Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
拜拜。